Good afternoon. I'm Doug Gross, Chair of New York Creates, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting. I'll now do a roll call of the directors participating in today's meeting. Michael Abbott.
Present.
Heather Hage. Dr. Mengling Shao.
Present.
Joan McDonald.
Present.
And Kristen Proud. Maybe on mute, Kristen.
I'm not on mute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We do now. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
I'd also like to recognize the advisory representatives designee, Ian Rosenblum, who's the designee of the Chancellor of the State University of New York. In addition, I'd like to recognize the member representatives, Brian Farrell, representing Research Foundation of the State University of New York, and Andrew Russell. Dr. Andrew Russell is representing SUNY Poly Foundation. I'd also like to recognize the officers who are participating in the meeting: Dave Anderson, Paul Kelly, Becca Borden, Scott Bateman, Timothy Taylor, and Patricia Buckland. I would like to ask everybody to mute their computers when they're not speaking to minimize the background noise. Also, please identify yourself when speaking and making a motion. For voting, we will call out each director's name for their vote so we can accurately record the vote. Now I'll ask at this point if anybody has a conflict of interest with respect to the items on today's agenda. If so, please make an appropriate disclosure on the record now and recuse yourself from any discussion or vote with regard to this item. Not hearing any conflicts, we'll continue for approval of the minutes. I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of the New York Creates meeting of May 3rd, 2024.
So moved. It's Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen. Is there a second?
This is Mike. I second it.
Thank you, Mike. Are there any corrections? I would ask, not hearing any corrections, each director for their vote. Michael Abbott.
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Shao.
Aye.
Joan McDonald.
Aye.
And Kristen Proud.
Aye.
And Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. I would like to ask for a motion to consider and approve New York Creates Resolution number 29, approving and ratifying the appointment of Rebecca Borden as Acting General Counsel.
So
This is
moved
Joan.
by
So
Mengling
moved.
Shao.
All right, Joan, thank you. And a second?
Second by Mengling Shao.
Thank you, Mengling. Pursuant to New York Creates Resolution number 1, Patricia Arciero Craig was appointed to serve as Chief Administrative Officer and Acting General Counsel effective December 18th, 2019, and serve in those positions until her resignation on April 18th, 2024. Effective April 19th, 2024, New York Creates President Dave Anderson appointed New York Creates Senior Associate Counsel Rebecca Borden, Esquire, as Acting General Counsel on an interim basis, pending completion of the selection process for such office. Ms. Borden is performing her duties as Acting General Counsel in an exemplary manner, and President Anderson seeks to have New York Creates approve and ratify her appointment as Acting General Counsel pending completion of the selection process for the office of General Counsel, and ratify all acts taken by such officer in fulfilling the duties of Acting General Counsel. The requested action is to approve New York Creates Resolution 29. Is there any discussion? I will ask each director for their vote on the motion. Michael Abbott,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Meng-Ling Shao,
Aye.
Joe McDonald,
Aye.
Kristen Proud,
Aye.
and as chair, I vote aye. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. Congratulations. I would like to now introduce Mike Abbott, Chair of the Audit Committee, for the Audit Committee report. Mike?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to ask for a motion to consider and adopt resolutions for New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC, approving and authorizing the insurance renewals for the corporation.
So moved by Meng-Ling Shao.
Thank you, Meng-Ling. Could I ask a second, please?
I'll second it, Mike. It's Kristen Proud.
Thank you, Kristen. By way of background, New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC seek to renew their various lines of insurance coverage for the period commencing on July 1, 2024. New York Creates insurance broker, Amshore, conducted a competitive outreach process and prepared a proposed renewal package. Amshore is an independent risk management and insurance advisory firm that represents over 20 different insurance carriers. The summary of the proposed program is in the materials provided to the board in advance of the meeting. As noted in the summaries, the aggregate premium cost for New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC will increase by approximately $96,000 or 2.8% for the 24-25 policy periods when compared to the expiring policy term. The increase is primarily driven by increases in property insurance premiums, which have increased significantly across the nation. In addition to the above, New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC will obtain cyber insurance for the 24-25 policy period at a cost of $27,000. The Audit Committee approved the resolutions described in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of the meeting, including recommending that the board approve the same. So the requested action today is approve the resolutions for New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC, approving the insurance renewals as requested in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of the meeting. Is there any discussion of the matter? Hearing none, I will ask each director for the vote on the motion. Dr. Gross?
Aye.
Thank you. Heather?
Aye.
Dr. Meng-Ling Shao?
Aye.
Thank you. Joan? Aye. Kristen?
Aye.
And I also vote in the affirmative. The ayes have it and the motion is adopted. Thank you. That concludes the Audit Committee report.
Thanks, Mike. I'd now like to introduce Kristen Proud, Chair of the Finance Committee, to present the Finance Committee report. Kristen?
Thank you, Dr. Gross. Good afternoon, everyone. So the first item from the Finance Committee for this meeting is New York Creates Resolution number 30, FRMC Resolution number 195, and FSMC Resolution number 210. It's the annual plan for 2024-25. At this time, I'd like to request a motion to consider and adopt New York Creates Resolution number 30, FRMC Resolution number 195, and FSMC Resolution number 210, approving the annual plan for 2024-25.
I'll move
This
it.
is
This is
Joan.
Heather.
Thank you, Heather. Joan, did I hear a
I'll
second?
it. Yes.
Thank you. So the bylaws of New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC provide that the president, with the recommendation of the chief financial officer, shall present to the board of directors for its approval an annual plan which shall set forth all of the anticipated revenues and expenditures and include the approved expenditure levels, including approved changes and estimated income and expenditures for the current fiscal year, the actual income and expenditures for the prior fiscal year, and the estimated income and expenditures for the forthcoming year. The 2024-25 annual plan was prepared and submitted to the Finance Committee upon the recommendation of management, the Chief Financial Officer, and finance staff. The Finance Committee approved the resolutions described in the memorandum that was provided to you in advance of this meeting and made the recommendation that the full board approve these same actions. So just to reiterate, the requested action is approval of New York Creates Resolution Number 30, FRMC Resolution Number 195, and FSMC Resolution Number 210. At this time, I'd like to open it up for any questions, comments, or other discussion about these resolutions. Okay. Not hearing any questions or comments, so we'll move to the vote, starting with Michael Abbott,
Aye.
Dr. Gross,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Mingling Shao,
Aye.
Joan McDonald.
Aye.
And I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative, please. So the ayes have it and the motion is adopted. The next item of business from the Finance Committee is New York Creates Resolution Number 31, FRMC Resolution Number 196, and FSMC Resolution Number 211. It's related to investment policies and guidelines. Could I have a motion to consider and adopt New York Creates Resolution Number 130, FRMC Resolution Number 196, and FSMC Resolution Number 211, approving and authorizing the adoption of the investment policy and guidelines, please?
So moved by Mengling Shao.
Thank you. A second?
Second from Doug.
Thank you, Doug. So as authorized by the bylaws of New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC, the corporation's desire to adopt an investment policy and guideline to set forth standards and guidelines governing the investment and management of the corporation's financial asset portfolio. The policy is intended to be in accordance with the New York Prudent Management of Institutional Funds Act and is issued to guide management and other interested and involved parties, including the Finance Committee. The policy provides that it may be amended by the Finance Committee, which also may approve exceptions to the policy as warranted by unique circumstances as they arise. The Finance Committee approved the resolution described in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of this meeting and made the recommendation that the full board consider and approve these same actions. So the requested action is approval of New York Creates Resolution Number 31, FRMC Resolution Number 196, and FSMC Resolution Number 211. I'd like to open it up now to any questions or comments about these resolutions. Then we'll move to the vote. Michael Abbott,
Aye.
Dr. Gross,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Mingling Shao,
Aye.
Joan McDonald,
Aye.
and I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. The ayes have it, and this motion is adopted. The next item from the Finance Committee is FRMC Resolution Number 197 and New York Creates Resolution Number 32. These relate to transfer of funds. I would ask for a motion to consider and adopt FRMC Resolution Number 197 and New York Creates Resolution Number 32, approving the transfer of funds from FRMC to New York Creates and from New York Creates to FSMC. Is there a motion?
This is Joan. I approve the motion.
Thank you, Joan. A second, please.
I'll second. Heather.
Thank you, Heather. Pursuant to its certificate of incorporation, FRMC was formed and is to be operated exclusively for the purpose of holding title to real estate, collecting income therefrom, and transferring the entire amount thereof, less expenses, to its member, New York Creates. In FRMC's 2024-25 fiscal year, $16 million has been identified as not being required for its operations, and which therefore may be transferred to its sole member, New York Creates, in accordance with FRMC's purposes. New York Creates, in accordance with its corporate purposes, anticipates receipt of $16 million from FRMC, its wholly owned subsidiary, and seeks to transfer $6 million of those funds to FSMC for working capital during the 2024-25 fiscal year at such times and in such amounts as determined by New York Creates Chief Financial Officer. The Finance Committee reviewed and approved the resolutions described in the memorandum provided to you in advance of this meeting and recommends that the full board approve these same actions. So the requested actions are approval of FRMC Resolution number 197 and New York Creates Resolution number 32. Are there any questions or comments about these resolutions? Okay, then we'll move to the vote. Mike Abbott,
Aye.
Dr. Douglas Gross,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Shao,
Aye.
Joan McDonald,
Aye.
and I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The next item is an agreement with LH LaPlante Company, Inc. I would ask for a motion at this time to consider and approve an agreement with LH LaPlante Company.
This is Joan, so moved.
Thank you. A second.
I'll second by Mengling Shao.
Thank you. FSMC is seeking approval of an agreement with LH LaPlante Company for the procurement of 2 new single-zone HVAC systems to support Norsk's manufacturing facility, which is located in Plattsburgh, New York. Under the agreement, which will follow a competitive procurement, LaPlante will demolish and remove the existing HVAC system, construct upgrades, and install the new HVAC systems. These new systems will service approximately 60,000 square feet of production and storage space. The cost of this competitively procured contract is $1,548,500, and it will be paid from New York State grant funds. The requested action is approving a resolution, approving and authorizing the corporation to enter into an agreement with LaPlante as requested in the memo provided to you in advance of this meeting. So I would ask if there are any questions or comments at this time on the resolution. Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the vote. Mike Abbott,
Aye.
Dr. Doug Gross,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Shao,
Aye.
Joan McDonald,
Aye.
and I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. The ayes have it, and this motion is adopted. The next item is an agreement with Turner Construction. I would ask for a motion to consider, approve, and ratify an agreement with Turner Construction Company, Incorporated.
So moved, Heather.
Thank you, Heather. A second, please.
Second, Doug.
Thank you. So FSMC seeks approval and ratification of an agreement with Turner Construction Company to design and construct a central cafe at the manufacturing facility that is leased to Tesla, located in Buffalo, New York. Under the agreement, this cafe will occupy 3,200 square feet and is to be substantially complete by July 15, 2024. Due to the scheduling issues of the contractor and subcontractors and the timing of long lead item purchases, the agreement was executed and the work on the project has already begun. The cost of the contract is $1,607,343 and will be paid from New York State grant funds to support the construction and expansion of the Riverbend facility. The Finance Committee reviewed and approved the resolution described in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of this meeting and recommends that the full board approve this same action. So the requested action is approval of a resolution approving and ratifying FSMC's execution of the agreement with Turner Construction Company and all acts of any officers of the corporation that were taken or made with respect to the aforesaid agreement as requested in the memorandum provided to you in advance of this meeting. Are there any questions or comments about the agreement with Turner Construction Company? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move to the vote. Mike Abbott,
Aye.
Dr. Doug Gross,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Shao,
Aye.
and Joan McDonald.
Aye.
And I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. The ayes have it, and this motion is adopted. The last item from the Finance Committee is an agreement with American Registry for Internet Numbers. I would ask for a motion to consider and approve an agreement with the American Registry for Internet Numbers.
I'll move it, Heather.
Thank you, Heather. A second, please.
This
I'll
is
second.
Joan, I second.
Thank you, Joan. So New York Creates is seeking to enter into a registration services agreement with ARIN, the American Registry for Internet Numbers, which is a regional internet registry serving the United States, Canada, and certain islands. ARIN provides registration, administration, and stewardship of internet number resources. Under the terms of the agreement, ARIN will issue and register internet computer addresses for 256-512 New York Creates computers and allow for programming, network allocation, identification, provisioning, routing, and communication management of these computers. The term of this agreement is for 1 year with automatic renewal unless terminated in accordance with the termination provisions included in the agreement. There is a one-time cost of $2,000 and an annual renewal cost, which is approximately $1,500. The Finance Committee reviewed and approved the resolution described in the memorandum provided to you in advance of this meeting and recommends that the full board approve the same action. So the requested action is approve a resolution approving and authorizing New York Creates to enter into an agreement with American Registry for Internet Numbers. Is there any discussion? Are there any questions on this resolution? Okay. We'll go to the vote. Mike Abbott,
Aye.
Dr. Doug Gross,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Mingling Zhao,
Aye.
Joan McDonald,
Aye.
and I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. The ayes have it, and this motion is adopted. I will turn it back to Dr. Gross.
Thank you, Kristen, for the report. We'll now move to the request of any new business to be considered. Hearing none, we'll move on to the opportunity for public comment. I'd like to provide that opportunity. If anybody would like, please introduce yourself and keep your comments to 2 minutes or less. Hearing none, we'll move to the next scheduled meeting, which is to be determined, and once finalized, will be posted on the website. I'd like to ask now, is there any further business? Hearing none, since there's no further business, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. It's Kristen Proud.
Thank you, Chris. Is there a second?
This is Mike. I second.
Thank you, Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Doug.